Good morning, everyone. I'm Amy Reardon. I am one of the outreach coordinators for Rideshare Delaware, and I want to welcome you to our 8th Delaware Commute Solutions series with pedestrian safety with the Delaware Office of Highway Safety. As you join our presentation, please go ahead and put your name and also your company, where you're joining us from, into the chat box. Also, please make sure to mute yourself for the presentation so we don't have a lot of background noise. And also, if you have any questions as we are going through the presentation, please go ahead and put them in the chat box as well. And then we're going to go through them at the end of the presentation. This presentation is being recorded and it will be up on our website on Monday. We will be following up shortly after the presentation with the link so that if you wanted to share or just to view the information again, you'll have the link to this presentation for our website, which will be available on Monday. So I would like to welcome Jackie Mcdermott, who is the Traffic Safety Program Manager for the Office of Highway Safety for Delaware. Jackie is relatively new to this position, so I want to thank her very much for kind of just jumping right in there to provide us with this information that is beneficial to all of us who are living, working, traveling the roads in Delaware with this great information. So Jackie, I am going to turn it over to you.
Good morning, and thank you, Amy, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this month's webinar. The Office of Highway Safety, also known as OHS, is grateful for the opportunity to speak about pedestrian safety in Delaware. As Amy stated, my name is Jackie Mcdermott, and I am one of the program managers for the Office of Highway Safety, and pedestrian safety is one of my program areas. I've been with the Office of Highway Safety since December of 2019. I also manage the speed and motorcycle programs within OHS. Prior to joining the Office of Highway Safety, I was with Public Health and lead poisoning prevention. Before I started with the state of Delaware, I worked 20+ years in the quality/auditing field. I've been trying to work diligently to come up to speed with as much training and review of highway safety information as possible. Prior to 4 kids, I was a volunteer firefighter with Odessa, and I'm hoping that those experiences with the fire service will help me make a positive impact within OHS. Next slide, please. In the presentation, we'll review the mission and the programs of highway safety, some national and Delaware pedestrian statistics, some safety tips for pedestrians, safety tips for motorists in regards to pedestrians, what OHS is working on to reduce pedestrian crashes and fatalities, and we'll review corporate partner information, how you could participate, and the Arrival Lab Delaware website and the other highway safety platforms. Next slide, please. Who is Office of Highway Safety and what do we do? It took me a while, and I'm still working to learn everything, what agencies handle what roles. OHS's main goal is to change behavior in the predetermined priority areas based on data, as well as the national priorities set by the National Highway Safety Administration, better known as NHTSA. Traffic safety areas work on outreach, education, and enforcement, all while using federal funding appropriately and being good stewards of that funding. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, could you go back? I jumped the gun. So our mission is to improve the safety of Delaware's motoring public, and we focus on behavioral traffic safety issues, including impaired driving, child passenger safety, motorcycle safety, seatbelt use, teen driving, distracted driving, speed, and pedestrian and bicycle. We are responsible for the coordination and management of Delaware's comprehensive highway safety program. We do seminars like this to provide the safety tips for all motorists in all areas. We administer the highway safety funds to conduct traffic safety initiatives. We conduct rigorous crash data analysis to identify the trends and the priority areas. We develop enforcement mobilizations, and reinforce efforts with multifaceted public outreach and media campaigns. And we strive to make Delaware's roads the safest that they can be. Next slide, please. The Office of Highway Safety is what I like to call a small but mighty team. We work very well together to collaborate and work to reduce traffic crash fatalities and serious injury crashes in Delaware. We really try to feed off each other and work together to reduce the crashes in Delaware. Next slide, please. Pedestrian crashes are not just a concern in Delaware, but are a rising national issue. Nationally, pedestrian crashes account for 17% of all fatal crashes. They've increased by 3.4% from 2017 to 2018. The nighttime fatalities increased by almost 10%. The rate of speed a pedestrian is hit increases the fatality rate greatly. Just so you know, at 35 miles per hour, it takes 77 feet to react, 58 feet to stop, and at 50 miles per hour, it's 110 feet and 119 feet, not including any distractions. 26% of pedestrian fatalities occurred between the hours of 6 p.m. and almost 9 p.m. 72% of fatalities happen outside of an intersection. Every 1.5 hours, a pedestrian was killed in a traffic-related crash. And Delaware was recently ranked 10th per population with the highest pedestrian fatalities. Next slide, please. In the state of Delaware, pedestrian fatalities account for 24% of all crash fatalities. 75% of fatalities occur at night or in dark conditions. Newcastle County continues to have the highest pedestrian crashes at 74%. Sussex County has been increasing and is currently at 20%. Impairment is a factor, and impairment could be either the motorist or the pedestrian themselves in 41% of the fatalities. December is the highest month for crashes and fatalities. 80% of Delaware fatalities occur above 35 miles per hour. The top locations include divided highways such as Philadelphia Pike, Kirkwood Highway, Route 13 and 113, Concord Pike, Route 40, and the beach areas. For the 2016 to 2018 locations of Route 13 and Route 113, the areas most affected were the Route 13 and 40 connection, Kirkwood Highway and Limestone Road, Philadelphia Pike and Harvey Road, and then Concord Pike. For Sussex County, it's Route 113 and Georgetown and Bridgeville Roads, and Laurel at Route 13 and Laurel Road. For Kent County, it's the divided highway of Route 13 between Scarborough Road and the split including Bay Road and the Camden areas. Next slide, please. Up. Pedestrians in Rideshare Delaware. Rideshare Delaware and the Office of Highway Safety work in conjunction regarding traffic safety behaviors and striving for clean commutes and alternate modes of transportation. So along with planning commutes, keep in mind that proper safety behaviors need to stay at the forefront. By doing this, it's a double win by reducing congestion and single occupancy vehicles, as well as promoting safe actions on roadways to help reduce pedestrian crashes in Delaware. We all know that walking is the most simple, economical, and environmentally friendly form of transportation. Walking provides essential connections between the residential and retail and commercial uses, as well as access to the public transit. Everyone becomes a pedestrian when they leave their work, their home, or etc. And if you participate in Rideshare Delaware, you're also a pedestrian. We're happy to collaborate with Rideshare Delaware to share safety tips with employees, commuters, and all pedestrians for use. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide.
Look, Jackie, it looks like we're having a little tech issue. Just give us 1 minute, please.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank you. Here are some walking safety tips to keep in mind as you're a pedestrian. You always want to be predictable. You want to follow the rules of the road and obey the signs and signals. Walk on sidewalks whenever they are available. If there is no sidewalk, walk facing traffic and as far from traffic as possible. You want to stay alert at all times and don't be distracted by electronic devices that could take your eyes and ears off the road. Whenever possible, cross streets at crosswalks or intersections where drivers expect pedestrians. Look for cars in all directions, including those turning left or right. Next slide, please. If a crosswalk or intersection is not available, locate a well-lit area where you have the best view of traffic. Wait for a gap in that traffic and that should allow you enough time to cross safely. Continue for watching traffic as you cross in case a car is coming extremely fast. Never assume a driver sees you. Make eye contact with drivers as they approach to make sure you are seen. By making eye contact with the driver, you should see a change, at least a type of acknowledgement, or at best case, you see them start to slow down. That's part of the reason why at night it's so difficult, because you can't always make that eye contact. Be visible at all times. Wear bright clothing during the day and wear reflective materials and use a flashlight at night. There are several types of reflective materials available. Some are brightly colored, and there's also dark options available that can reflect light. Next slide, please. Take younger children by the hand to prevent darting and dashing. For this actual point, I was going to give a personal story. It was about 16 years ago, and I was very pregnant with my youngest son, and I had a 2-year-old wild child and a 5-year-old angel. We used to go to the post office to get the mail, and when we would go, after we get the mail, we'd go to a park, and so that would wear them out to take a nice nap. To get from the post office to the park, you had to cross Route 299 in Odessa, where the speed limit is supposed to be 25 miles per hour. I always had a hand on the wild child, and about the time I went to grab the 5-year-old hand, he dashed out of my reach and across the street. There was a car coming, and all I could do was scream, "Stop." About that time, the car coming, slammed on their brakes. So thankfully, they both stopped at the same time, and we were able to cross. I grabbed them both up, crossed the street, and sat down and tried to compose myself. I was so very thankful that the only thing that crashed that day was my emotions. It only took a split second. So always take younger children by the hand anytime near the street. So a reminder to always look left, right, left to ensure there are no cars coming. When no cars are coming, walk, do not run, because it's sometimes hard for a driver to know how fast someone is moving across the road, and then keep looking left, right, left for cars while you are crossing. Be extra cautious in school zones. Remind teens about safely crossing with the above safety tips, and reinforce what is taught in the school in regards to pedestrian safety. And as always, please set the example. Next slide, please. When you are behind the wheel, there are some reminders to keep in mind. Look out for pedestrians everywhere at all times. Safety is a shared responsibility. Please use extra caution while driving in hard-to-see conditions such as nighttime or bad weather. Slow down and be prepared to stop when turning or otherwise entering a crosswalk. Drivers must fully stop, not just yield for pedestrians in all crosswalks in Delaware. When approaching a crosswalk, do not stop in or on the crosswalk, but in advance of it by at least 1 to 2 feet. Allow space for the visibility of other drivers on multi-lane highways to see pedestrians using the crosswalk. Never pass vehicles stopped at a crosswalk. There may be people crossing that you are not able to see. Next slide, please. Never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Follow the speed limit. Your driving behavior affects every pedestrian on the street. Please follow slower speed limits in school zones and in neighborhoods where children are present, even if school is not in session, like now. Please be extra cautious when backing up. Pedestrians can move into your path. Be aware of clues to alert you of children playing in areas such as playground, open fields, etc., and the potential of children darting in the road. Set the example and consistently reinforce proper road safety with teen drivers. Also be aware of buses and riders leaving the buses and crossing mid-street where the bus stops are located. I have witnessed this on Route 4 when 3 people came off of a DART bus dressed in a restaurant uniform and crossed 4 lanes of traffic, assumedly heading to the restaurant that was directly across from the bus stop on the opposite side of the divided highway. Next slide, please. So what is currently being done in Delaware? OHS performs data research to determine and develop an annual plan to reduce pedestrian crashes with outreach, education, and enforcement mobilizations in Delaware. We average 5 to 6 mobilizations with the law enforcement agencies across the state based on the crash data. OHS has partnered with DART to put street teams on buses to interact with customers on the importance of safe walking behaviors and distribute reflective items. Summer Beach pedestrian mobilization between Memorial Day and Labor Day weekends was in response to the increased pedestrian activity with an emphasis on reminding Delawareans and tourists to practice safe walking behaviors. There are education and outreach events held previously at Wilmington Blue Rocks, at Farley Stadium, the State Fair, Firefly, Delaware State Parks, and some of the elementary and middle schools, Little League baseball games, and also run, walk, endurance races. And we are anxiously awaiting to start them up again. Next slide, please. In conjunction with other highway safety programs, pedestrian safety was included during the holiday season during the Safe Family Holiday Enforcement Mobilization. OHS was recently nominated to participate in a pedestrian program audit performed by NHTSA to provide feedback and recommendations. So our office is looking forward to that on how we can improve through NHTSA's eyes. Last year, there was over 26,000 contacts/arrests in 2019 during the pedestrian mobilization. Paid and earned media is done with advertisements, billboards, spokespeople, social media, radio, and other media outlets. Next slide, please. During the mobilizations, officers were directed to approach pedestrians and educate them on safe walking habits and enforce as necessary to pedestrian motorists, but their main focus was education. Pedestrian safety street teams were also launched during Delaware and NHTSA's annual Pedestrian Safety Month in October, and we're hoping to continue that. The Pedestrian Safety Campaign was rebranded in fall 2018 and kicked off during the press conference held on Kirkwood Highway in Wilmington to remind all to walk bright. Next slide, please. And here's our corporate partner program. If you would like to participate, my coworker Amanda's contact information is at the bottom. But Rideshare Delaware is a corporate partner with Office of Highway Safety. And if you choose to participate in the program, you'll receive monthly newsletters, electronic and print, with the various traffic safety messaging to post and distribute to members/staff to assist in modifying traffic safety behaviors. There's presentations and community outreach activities. There's biannual meetings and networking opportunities. And again, if you're interested, you can contact Amanda or reach out to anyone on the webinar, and we'll be glad to forward your information. Next slide, please. And here are all the options to connect with OHS. We have the Arrive Alive Delaware website that was recently relaunched. There's also the state website, ohs.delaware.gov, and then all the social media platforms, YouTube, Arrive Alive Delaware, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. You could just search Highway Safety DE. Next slide, please. Here are the different websites that I cited. Next slide, please. And in closing, remember, this is a shared responsibility of both drivers and pedestrians to follow the rules of the road and act safely and responsibly. Staying focused and aware of all road users and scanning the roads, sidewalks, crosswalks, and or however you may be traveling helps everyone get to their destination safely. Thank you, Rideshare Delaware, for the invitation, and thank you all for your time and attention for pedestrian awareness in Delaware. And my contact information is there if I can be of assistance. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jackie, for all that great information, and also for providing the sources for us to view as well. Now, again, I had mentioned earlier, if there's any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box and we can go through them. Also, if you think of something after the presentation, Jackie does have her information. Feel free to reach out, or you could reach out to one of the Rideshare Delaware team members as well. And also, don't forget about the corporate partnership with the Office of Highway Safety. As employees or students, we're out there, we're walking, possibly biking. So it's a great partnership to have, and just to be up to date on what is occurring within the state of Delaware. So I don't see any questions right now, so we'll move on to the next slide. One thing I do want to remind everybody is that Rideshare Delaware is celebrating walking for the month of July, and we are holding a July Scavenger bingo. So it's very simple to enter. All you have to do is be registered for Rideshare Delaware. Make sure your profile is complete, and at the end of our last slide has our website. So you can either join by the website, which is ridesharedelaware.org, or you can download our app, Rideshare DE, which is available on both Apple and Android phones. And once you are registered, you just have to record your walking day, and then just like bingo, mark off 5 squares. And once you do that, you could share your board with us either through Facebook, Instagram, or you could email us. Our email is down there as well. And use the hashtag Delaware Clean Commutes. And you have a couple more days to enter, so make sure you do that. And we will be celebrating the winner with a Rideshare Delaware prize pack. And let's see, I think we just have a comment from Veronica, and I know she is with DART, and her comment is surprise engineering and design of the roadway, such as the flawed 85th% default approach to setting speed limits, was not noted as a factor in pedestrian fatalities and injuries. So she is providing a resource to get that information. And also, Jackie, I just wanted to say, as a parent myself, having young ones, my son is going to be turning 11, whenever we're walking or biking or crossing the roads, it is scary, and as parents, we try to educate and also set the example. So I think that's very important. I thank you for sharing that story, because I know just being out there, we as pedestrians sometimes try to be so careful, and sometimes the motorists, they're just not paying attention. So it's like we have to have eyes all over the place. So thank you for sharing that story. Again, as a parent, I can relate to that. And thank you for sharing the information both as pedestrian safety and also as motorists, because we're both in it together. And I think right now, with everything going on, with many people working from home, I've noticed just in my town, I see many more people out. I see many more people walking and riding their bikes. So I thought this was a great topic to cover right now, especially with the warmer weather too. So great information. Again, this will be posted on our website. Also, just as a reminder, don't forget, we have Rideshare rewards. You can record your clean commutes. Remember, a clean commute is anything from carpooling, vanpooling, transit, which includes the bus or train, obviously walking and biking, and working from home. So don't forget, if you're working from home, you could be earning so many points. We have over 600 rewards that when you do record your clean commute, you earn 200 points per round trip. And then we have a rewards program where you can accumulate your points, you take your points, and you could choose which rewards you want. And as I said, right now we currently have over 600. And one of them is also our monthly raffle that you may enter as well. So there's some great rewards for everybody within our Rideshare rewards. So again, if you're not registered, please go to our website or download our app and you could get registered that way. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to anyone on the Rideshare Delaware team. And if we go on to the next slide, we have all of our information. So you could see our social media platforms, our email, our website, as well as our phone. So on behalf of Rideshare Delaware, we thank you for joining us today. And Jackie and the Office of Highway Safety, I also thank you very much for providing this useful information. And I encourage everyone to go to the website of Office of Highway Safety and just to learn more and share the information as well. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out through email or through our website. And this webinar will be on our website on Monday. So feel free to share that information as well. So have a wonderful Friday. Enjoy your weekend and be safe. Thank you, everyone.